the pain is gonna come.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Regardless, yeah.
The pain is gonna come regardless. But I can feel that it's easier to deal with these sudden blows the more cold exposure I do.
Yeah.
The more I like push my fasts, the more I do these heavy loaded workouts.
Yeah.
But also when I get home, I'm more a dad. I'm more a husband.
Yeah.
It actually stems from our Viking heritage, is my belief.
Which one?
The independence of women in our society.
That's true. I actually believe that too.
I'm not
Strong,
sure.
independent women fighting in the field.
I mean, the fighting is a marginal part of the Viking history, but if you look at women owning property and women deciding to get divorced from their husbands in Viking Scandinavia, it's a fairly common theme.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that
They
too.
got divorced back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Viking series. They also get divorced. That's true.
Yeah,
I don't think you should look at the Viking series
That's
and
what
think like that.
That's what I base
Probably
my knowledge on.
But yeah, they were shield maidens in the Viking series. So according to that, I can see some independence there.
But it's also based on real people, and it's also
for sure.
based on real people that was born and everything. And she is married to another dude in that one. I remember that anyway.
But I like the old-fashioned style. I do.
Why?
I don't think it's
What do you like about it?
suppressive in any way. I just like that you can see the biological differences from male to females. That we have some individualities that needs to be respected from a biological perspective, without it being disrespectful in any kind to any of the sexes. That's just how I see it. Women's nurture, males make sure that the family can survive.
And we nurture.
And we do, yeah.
Yeah.
But things are changing as well.
Things are changing.
So welcome to the family podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the Family Viking podcast.
Yeah.
Lukas, we've known each other for a few years.
Yeah.
You've been a client of mine. We've known each other from the fitness and health and fitness community. And that's why I thought that it was a good idea to bring you here. You're a kind guy, an open-minded guy, and a talented guy.
Thank you.
And you have your band, Lukas Graham, touring worldwide.
Yeah.
But maybe it's best that you give the introduction of yourself. Tell us a bit about who you are.
I don't know who I am.
Who are you?
You don't know who you are either.
Nope.
And I think that's the way it should be. I'm a father of two, which I believe is my most important role in the world right now. I have a band, a music career. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I tour the world. We're in quite a busy band. I grew up in the hippie, autonomous community of Christiania, so a lot of my alternative views on health and fitness and lifestyle probably come from there. And then just traveling the world and seeing how some of the poorest people I've met were some of the happiest and most generous. And also a few dollar billionaires were very, very kind, but it wasn't the norm. So some of the richest people I've met have also been some of the most unhappy people and most obese and most unhealthy people I've met. And I think that's interesting. That the people, that some people with all the means in the world to live a healthier and quote unquote better life aren't necessarily doing it, and some of the people with the least means are living a healthier,
Interesting,
happier life.
So how did your upbringing on Christiania shape the person that you are today? Because I guess that's a community of people with less resources. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's we were definitely a marginalized community with I guess only like 25% had their own toilet and bathroom when I was a kid. I was 6 before we got a bathroom in our house. so the place where I went and showered was the bathhouse. So my bathroom had 3 warm showers, 2 cold showers, a cold plunge, a sonotherapy stone bed, a sauna. So when I grew up, the way we would go and have a real bath a few times a week with a sauna and everything, and otherwise it was in a little plastic tub, either on the porch or on the kitchen floor.
Very minimalistic.
Yeah, but then when we went to the sauna, the sauna was free for kids. So we would literally, in kindergarten, ask, is there a grown-up that wants to take us to the sauna? And we'd go. I just think, less is more in a certain way. There are a lot of luxury goods that are fun and cool to have. I do like my dishwasher. I do like my vacuum cleaner. I like that my assistant can drive me around in a car. But I don't have a driver's license, for example. I bike around town. I have my box bike and I move my kids. I do my groceries. That's how I get from A to B. And I actually noticed my fitness, my conditioning level gets worse the more I travel because I don't bike.
Yeah.
And I can actually feel it on stage even, which is kind of fucked up.
So that's your cardio training, or that's some of it?
Yeah, my main cardio is definitely when I'm on stage. I run around.
Yeah.
Tracking up to 1,000 calories burned in an hour and 15 minutes, which is kind of...
That's insane, yeah.
Yeah, I got the Whoop strap on because I wanted to test what do I burn. Because I work out in a lot of different ways. I do some very fascia-related movements that I've learned from you.
Yeah.
I do gymnastics in the rings. I do very heavy weightlifting. Not very heavy if you're a power lifter, but if you're a normal guy, I think my 170 kilo deadlift is a pretty heavy heavy weight.
For sure. But it's kind of interesting because what we talk about always, what the common theme is always is get back to nature. You have all the things that you need outside your door. You don't need that much. You can mainly live healthy, almost zero cost. And that's what I liked about you, and that's what I have told you before, that despite the level of resources that you have, because of the brand you have built, you still live in a pretty minimalistic way, and you use a lot of the resources that you have free from nature, despite that you still allow some luxuries, as you say. So I guess that's because of your upbringing.
My upbringing, and then I do believe I had a detour, drinking and smoking too much and going into a consumptive lifestyle that it wasn't necessarily sustainable. And then COVID hit. My mindset readjusted, and I'm a little more back to basics now. And basically the things that I use to stay healthy is breathing, not eating for a certain amount of time most days, and moving.
That's free of charge.
Free of charge. I mean, my main tool to work out is a set of gymnastic rings. They cost me 260 kroner. I bought them in January 2018. I still have them. I've spent more money on gymnastic chalk than on the rings. And you can say my main ambition with my movement practice, I call it a practice because it's not perfect, it's not work, it's fun, is to be stronger, faster, more enduring than my children for as long as possible. So when I play with my kids get tired first. And that's my main goal with my health.
That's an interesting goal.
Yeah. To keep yourself running for as long as possible.
To keep myself running for as long as possible, as fast as possible, to be able to jump as high as possible, do as many muscle-ups, superset it with squats as possible. I know you don't believe in squats, but I do.
I respect that.
I mean, I believe in any exercise that boosts hormonal function.
Yeah.
And the more muscle mass you can move in any one movement, you can boost testosterone. So the muscle is the king, and then comes the squats, the deadlifts, the weighted chin-ups.
But was it always like that? I mean, you said you had a turnaround around COVID. Is that when 2018 you got the rings? When did you really start going into this and start researching on your own? Because I guess you weren't always into that.
I mean, I've always been moving. I was dancing as a teenager, Thai boxing as a teenager, started working out with personal trainers in 2012. But then when COVID hit, I realized that some of the things that I had been doing for social reasons, I was suddenly doing on my own, like sitting with a beer, smoking joints. And then I had this thought, do I want my children to look at me like that? How do I want my kids to look at me? More necessarily than how do I want to be? And then I just started looking into the community I'd grown up in, seeing more people drink and smoke and invariably get sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I've had my parties. And I mean, now I'm at a point where I can still party. I just don't drink and smoke. And several of my friends have remarked that it's more fun to have me around now. And so I'm super grateful for that shift. And you could say that it accelerated my movement practice that I started in 2018 and started having different coaches. Started with a guy called Hunter in Los Angeles, and then a Danish dude from Aarhus, Daniel Severin. And learning the muscle up was my first.
Yeah, I still can't
goal.
do that shit.
Took 9 months to get the first one.
And now you're doing the strict and the rings.
Now I can
with
do
weights, right?
I did one with 16 and a half kilos between my legs, I believe, was one strict muscle up.
A muscle?
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Why the fuck can't I do that? Anyway, fuck that. That's not.
Because you're vegan.
Yeah, I'm vegetarian. I'm vegetarian, bro.
Now I can mock you. You're not vegan, right?
I eat everything and anything.
Good.
But I probably also eat more than you would dare.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess you're the first person in here who's not a vegan, so I'm very delighted.
You will have all all the vegan guests.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think Jack Cruz was vegan.
No. That was an exception.
Yeah.
I don't think that too.
No.
We'll take a quick break to acknowledge one of our sponsors, Functional Self. Functional Self isn't just another health store, it's a lifestyle. I've been taking many of their supplements for years now, including the MagTech Magnesium, which contains 3 of the most essential magnesium types there is, and this makes me sleep like a rock. To the Rosita cod liver oil, the king of fish oils, which is a rare, unprocessed fish oil naturally high in vitamin D and A. And this is actually one of my favorite products. I've been using it for many years now, and I'm even giving it to my 2-year-old daughter. Functional Self offer a carefully curated range of biohacking tools, supplements, and functional foods that are scientifically proven to restore optimal health. So if you're serious about taking your health to the next level, check out the full range at functionalself.com and save 10% off your first order by using the code HOLISTIC10. So let's rewind a bit and take us through a timeline, because from what I know, the Lukas 25-year-old was, I don't know if I can say addicted, but you were into drugs, you were into weed, you were into alcohol. Lukas today, 34, family, structure, fitness, what I would consider to be ideal. What happened? What was your wake-up call?
Yeah, but I think that was the whole COVID situation. I wasn't traveling. I wasn't hanging out with a bunch of people. There wasn't anything to celebrate. There wasn't anybody dying. So I had, there wasn't the Graul. And then I just realized that things that were supposed to be social weren't social. And when I then got back to being social, I realized not consuming was more fun. I like being able to get up at 6 o'clock when my kids wake up. I like waking up every day knowing what mood I'm in. I like being able to do my workouts and do my concerts, go to the studio and write songs, do TV shows, interviews, whatever, no matter how much I've slept. I love the fact that I can sleep 3 hours, preferably 7 to 10 hours, but sometimes I only get 3 or 4 hours and I still get up, I still get my day done. I like having big New Year's Eve parties at my house. And then when my kids get up, I get up. Because at the end of the day, 75% of time spent with your kids is before they're 12. So from your kids are 12 till the day you die, that's 25% of the time you have with them. Statistically speaking, on average.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
It's terrible to think about.
Well, instead of thinking of it as terrible, then think of it as the opportunity to actually shape your kids
Utilize it.
is until they're 12.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm in bed with my 6-year-old like last night and she won't go to bed, do I get angry or do I try and think,
Let's enjoy this.
let's just be here?
Yeah.
And because I have a 6-year-old who's kind of like me, the head's like going all over the place. And if I can calm myself down, like I'm trying to teach her like breath work.
Mm-hmm.
We do it every night. She hates it, but she's going to thank me later because it's a fucking superpower.
Yeah.
For sure.
Bedtime breath work
For sure.
Oh man, yeah.
and reading books instead of watching screens
For sure. For
before
sure.
bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's a multi-dimensional conversation, but I think the idea of being clear, being present, like, I mean, it just became imperative to me to be that, like be here where I am and not be mentally somewhere else.
Because you were trying to enjoy life as much as possible, and you would see the people that had the most money was the one that was wasting it the most, that was the fattest, the most unhealthy. Because I've realized the same thing too. I mean, of course we had different lives, but I also met a lot of people that made a lot of money, and I'm like, wait, so this is what you do. This is what happens when you make a lot of money, is you become an alcoholic and you get super fat and unhealthy, and I don't want to do that. What is the goal when you get super rich? Well, should it be the same as it is now? Enjoy life as much as possible. I mean, if I had a lot of money, I would spend that money on working out or, relaxing or getting massages, or not massages, but like cooking. I would spend that on time to do the things. Why don't I do those things now?
But I think it's connected to the fact that if you have money, you have all opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So then you lose the ability to think about what is the most important here in life, because you can get almost everything. I think that's the dilemma for rich people, and why many rich people end up like that.
But still, I guess it didn't happen to you, right? Because you were also, you could be on that path if that's what you wanted. You could be that person that was just like spending.
And I think I was on that path. Like, I mean, expensive wine and I think I just, delayed gratification. I mean, it makes things a little sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's 10:30. I haven't eaten yet. When I eat, it's going to be a very, very wonderful meal.
Exactly.
Because the last meal I had was around 6 o'clock last night with my kids.
Yeah.
So it's this idea that's why I really like weightlifting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a goal of, say, bench pressing 100 kilos. It takes a while to get there. And once you're there, it's not even every time you go back to the bench press that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, I'm a 74 kilo guy. 100 kilos is a heavy weight to push.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the squats. Same with the deadlifts. The same with the muscle ups.
Yeah.
You make some goals, you move towards them, and then once you get there, it feels fucking amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's the same with the eating. Then we don't eat for a certain amount of time. You allow yourself to really feel the food you're eating when you're eating it.
Oh, yeah.
And you teach your kids that you don't necessarily just go around eating all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have sweets in the house. We talked about this and you thought it's absolutely crazy, but we have pizza once a week. I mean, I have a body fat of like 9.6 right now. I eat pizza once a week.
Same here.
I sometimes eat burgers twice a week with French fries and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I also acknowledge that there is the joy aspect to it, which can be more healthy than the unhealthiness of what you eat.
Yeah.
But do you make, it's also another question. Do you make the pizza yourself?
No, the idea is...
No.
We do make pizza ourselves, but what I talk about is when...
Fast food, real fast food.
we go to pizza shop.
Yeah.
We get the pizza and the fries, the nuggets, and we go and we chill with the kids, and we do our Pizza Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my kids eat everything.
Yeah.
My youngest would rather eat raw fish and broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I don't make the pizza myself, she'll only eat the crust. Like if she could just have a steak, raw fish, and broccoli,
She's good.
She's good. And like my oldest would rather eat, if she could eat like just råbrød and fruits, like that's what she eats.
Okay.
But they also love to get the white rice and sushi. Like it's like you can do both. It's like my kids eat everything.
So they don't even like pizza?
No, they like the pizza.
Okay,
But my point is that it doesn't have to be that because you eat fast food with your kids, that's the only thing they want to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a parental job that you introduce your kids to enough different sorts of food so that they also like everything else.
And allowing them to, because there's this thing about if you doesn't allow them to do anything, it may backfire later in life.
For sure.
You know?
I mean, we
like with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah, like that little picture on cigarette packs. That's why people buy them because, it has a reverse effect that you see someone has an injury from it. It actually increases the sales.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I heard that. It could be.
I could imagine, yeah.
Could be bullshit, but yeah.
It's interesting.
But I think it's true.
Do you see it as a requirement in the music industry to be sedated by drugs and alcohol?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've met plenty of people who don't partake or who do it sparsely. I think for me, growing up in inner city Copenhagen, being able to drink and smoke was like a badge of adulthood. So now I'm an adult. I live in my own apartment. I make my own money so I can buy my own things. And among those things is expensive wine and cheap beer and going out to party. For me, freedom was staying out as late as I could.
Yeah.
Where now it's like, when I have a late concert now, it sucks because I know it's going to compromise my sleep, which is going to compromise my recovery, which is going to have an impact on my workout tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when I'm done with a concert at 8, that's nice.
Yeah.
That means I've eaten at 4.
Yeah.
I'm done at 8. I can be in bed with my compression boots on at 9. But it's like, there are just different times of your life for different things. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
No.
But you feel more benefits from doing the healthy lifestyle than doing the sedated lifestyle, according to your music business.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I think it's also, you have to go through that. I mean, you also went through it. I also went through it. You know, like
We did.
Same as you describing. And you have to realize, okay, this is not what I fucking want. I remember also, like, I was in university, and I had kind of the same lifestyle, you know, too much drinking, too much smoking, too much these kind of things. And I failed 2 exams. That was the first exams I ever failed within a week. And I remember I went to the bathroom looking in the mirror. I'm like, either you fucking stop that shit, or you go right now and you go out this university. You just, you know, you take yourself out.
But I think it's a cultural issue. Like,
It is.
like the fact that people in Denmark have a difficulty being social without alcohol. And if you don't drink alcohol, there must be something wrong with
for
you.
sure. My point is just that in order to realize there's a problem with it, you have to go through it. I mean, I don't regret it. I guess you don't regret it.
I don't regret it either, and I see it the same way. And
But regretting things in life, come on, it's the most stupid.
That's-
Besides being angry,
it is.
regretting
it
is
is.
like the second worst
agree.
thing
I
you can
agree.
do. Like,
It is for sure. And I've met many people who haven't been down that path in life due to their careers, whatever it is. A lot of football players don't have that opportunity because they are so focused on the football from their 5, and they never have this opportunity to go through that negative path. So what do? They fuck up when they stop their careers or whatever they're doing. So I agree with you that it can actually be beneficial to temporarily fuck up your life through drugs and alcohol.
what? I mean, yeah. Well, what a way to put it.
It is.
I mean, I also have friends who just didn't ever really drink or smoke, also from Christiania, for example.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so it's not. I don't think it was a Christiania issue. I think it's we live in a country where
Yeah, I agree with
getting drunk is kind of what you do.
Yeah, and if you don't drink, and if
yeah.
you're at a party, you don't drink, someone's gonna be like, "Why you not drinking?" And then it's gonna turn into everyone know you're not drinking, and then they keep pushing. Okay, fuck it, I'll have a beer, and then it begins, and then you're the last one leaving.
I literally drink like sparkling water with ice cubes and a lemon in it because everybody thinks there's vodka in it.
That's the key.
I'll put a Coke Zero in a glass with ice cubes because it looks like a fucking
Rum cola,
right?
yeah.
So you have an issue with people doubting that you don't drink alcohol?
No, but I don't owe them
No.
like an explanation.
No.
So why do I like my perfect days? What do they look like in terms of cold exposure, workouts? When do I eat? What do I eat? How much do I eat? I don't know anyone an explanation.
No. But people want an explanation.
Oh yeah,
That's
of
the
course,
fucked up
because they're nosy.
Yeah.
And because they want an explanation from me who has some sort of an attention on me, and then they can tell someone else about me. So at the end of the day, I'm just a little clam. I don't need to tell anybody about anything. I do what I do, and I enjoy it. And back to the food thing. When I want the pizza, we enjoy the pizza.
Oh, for sure, man.
Without a little stick
Yeah.
hitting myself in the head. I just ate 1,100 calories.
No. That's never gonna
I
work.
have to do a 27-mile run tomorrow because I ate a pizza.
That's
Shut
the
the
trick.
fuck up.
But
Yeah.
Just get back on the good train that you were on yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's also about a lifestyle. I think that's also. I used to work out a lot, and I used to also want to go heavy all the time. I was what? I was 88 kilos. Now I'm 74 like you. But I just realized, okay, this shit is fucking me up. I started getting injuries and stuff. But it was never a lifestyle at that point. You know, it was always, okay, gain weight, now you eat that, and now you drink protein shakes and everything. And it was always, you had to remember and count your calories and shit. And then I realized, okay, this is not a fucking, you know.
But
this
that's
is
how
not-
we're taught health is.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
the issue.
efficient. It's not where you can just eat a pizza and do these kind of things. I was not that fanatic, but still, it was not a lifestyle to me until I turned vegetarian. It's something that fits me very well. And when I did that, that's when I realized, like you say, that's my perfect. I can eat a pizza when I want. I can do what I want. But it's a lifestyle now. I don't have to think about, every little detail now like I used to. It has to become a lifestyle that you can see yourself in.
We'll take a quick break to acknowledge one of our sponsors, Nordic Kings. I've been taking Nordic Kings products for more than 2 years now in everything from their bone marrow to their beef liver pills. And this is to spike my micronutrient profile without having to take any synthetic multivitamin pills, because I don't like the taste of organs. So this solution provides me with the exact same nutrients that I can get from the organs without having to eat them. And they're of course made from the highest quality, organic, grass-fed and free-range cows. And this is exactly why I've chosen to partner up with Nordic Kings for so many years now. Because I prefer quality over quantity and always nature first. You can save 15% off your next order by heading over to nordickings.se/en and use the code HOLISTIC15.
I never count calories.
No.
I track the amount of protein I get a day.
Okay.
And that's it.
Why do you do that? You must have an idea, a rough estimate in your head,
Yeah.
but you need the exact number.
I mean, it's a nice thing to know also in terms of the Whoop tracking. I can see that my protein amount is beneficial for my recovery. But also I have a physically more taxing lifestyle than most people. If I want to have a workout and a concert, that's
Traveling, jet lag.
jet lag, but just take the traveling away from it for just a moment. But if you just say a hard workout and a show, that's almost 2,000 calories. That's almost double the amount of what I would normally burn if I had a normal day. I've tried tracking it. If I have a holiday with my kids, 2,200 calories, that's me walking around a town, swimming in the pool, chilling with my family. Then if I have a normal workout day, we're around 3,000 to 3,500. A normal workout day and concert, we can go as far as 4,400 calories in one day. So that's an immense amount of muscle moved. For that muscle to recover again before the next concert, which might be tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. I could have as much as 4 or 5 in a row. Then we're beginning to see an issue of muscular recovery on a cellular level.
But then why are you trying to do like big muscles and like gain strength then? Why wouldn't you try to be as light as possible?
Because it's fun.
Ah, okay.
And I am super light. It's like I don't have a lot of baggage weight.
Yeah.
At 9.5% fat, I mean, I'm pretty damn nimble. And you can also see, or Mess has seen, my mobility is ace. I mean, I have more thoracic spinal mobility than most people you've ever had through your gym.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Even though I do like chin-ups with 40 kilos strapped around my weight.
But you're very versatile in your approach to fitness.
My dogma is that once we approach a dogmatic pattern, we shift it. So once the heavy squats become the norm, we start doing the step-ups and the box jumps. Once the muscle-ups and the forward rolls and all the lever work becomes, oh, now I'm in this type of pattern, then we switch the pattern. But I also work with different coaches. I have Mux in Copenhagen that I work with Monday and Thursday. I have a dance coach in Los Angeles called Tanya that I work with and sometimes fly her out on tour. Then I also have Hunter in LA, who's a gymnastics and strength coach, or Daniel in Aarhus, who's more gymnastics movements, but still does the strength work.
Okay.
So I kind of have my own blueprint. And then I work with you sometimes to do this more like cross fascia.
Functional movement.
But it's also very movement based. Then it's very
movement-based.
like dancing and gymnastics. And if you add strength, that makes sense. Then, I mean, if you only go to the gym, that would be shit. Like that's when you get those robotic movements.
Well, yeah, maybe, unless you're working full range of motion, which is what I like.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it is a bit contradictory to my beliefs, some of it. But why I can agree with you is your versatility in your approach.
And you can see that in the movements that I do with you, even though movements I've never done before, you can usually load them fairly heavy as soon as my body knows what we're doing.
There's also then a type of intelligence into it. You need to know your body. You need to
have a mind-to-muscle connection, and you need to have the transferal of skill, basically, I guess.
How does your fitness approach benefit you on the stage?
I'm not really out of breath. I mean, I could try and find a track of one of my performances here.
That one you sent me on the stage?
No, well, I can show you that.
I haven't seen that.
But
you need to see it. It's amazing with this diaphragm. It's insane.
I was thinking Saturday 19th, I had a 729 calories burned in an hour.
But it sounds fun though. I mean, it sounds fun that you can work out as a work like.
But
it's just a fun workout.
Yeah.
But you can see the pulse here. So 20% or 20 minutes was spent at 80 to 90% of like my max heart rate. You can see down here is 180.
Yeah.
It's my max heart rate.
For how long, you say?
You can look at that. You can click on the different heart rate.
Is that the zone 5? Yeah.
Okay.
So 5 minutes, 6 minutes almost spent at the
max heart rate.
Max heart rate.
During a concert.
Yeah.
But it's small spikes, I guess, right? It's not all 6 minutes.
No, but you can
not like a
click on it.
You can click on it. You can see where it is in the set.
So it's actually one of them is a quite large spike, maybe on 2 minutes in a row, something like that.
That's actually pretty cool.
So that's the equivalent of intense sprint work, right?
It is definitely, yeah.
And I just think it's hilarious that we can track this.
Yeah.
You can look at what's my cardiovascular health, and I never run. I don't do any cardio workouts whatsoever.
But this counts. I mean,
so your cardio workouts are breath work?
No, but you can then let's look at here. The weightlifting I did is also, though this was a strength-based activity, you spent 38 minutes at 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, which benefits endurance and burns fat. So the way that I often structure weightlifting workouts is combining exercises, and sometimes upper body, lower body, sometimes lower body, or and so we superset it in a way that the pulse never really gets to come down.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like supersetting squats with a bench press.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very efficient way of keeping your pulse up, making sure that the energy output is still high.
Yeah, I love supersets as well for that same reason.
Yeah, it's like
Try and show Jacob the video that we talked about, the one that you sent me, where you can really see how the diaphragm works in action. It's
Okay, let's see.
And this,
I think you sent it to me in a text message maybe.
I forgot the figs. I actually picked them even.
Ah,
Let's see.
there you have it. Yeah. Let's look at his diaphragm.
Oh yeah.
Wait. You see these spikes?
Yeah, but yeah.
So that's
Working out too.
I guess
in a
it's
big
the
way.
I guess it's the big breath that you need to take in between the sets, because the trick for singers is to have as long an exhalation as possible. You need to really have strong
But it's
strong
also
diaphragm.
it has to come from your lower level. It's like a yogic breath.
It
You
is.
take
Yeah,
it
yeah,
all
for
the way
sure.
down,
For sure.
except you do it super fast.
So there's two different types of breathing. There is reflexive breathing, which is we're emptying our lungs,
Mm-hmm.
and then the diaphragm re-inflates itself.
Yeah.
Then there is what most people are doing in their daily life, which is what we try to not do,
Yeah.
is percussive breathing, is where
Yeah.
Force it.
we're pushing air into ourselves. So I don't have enough time for the reflexive breathing.
For it to do it by itself.
You can't, I mean, I have milliseconds.
Yeah.
So I'm sucking in small pieces of air in between sentences sung.
And that's what it does. That's what we're seeing every time. Yeah. But it's a lot though. It's not small breath. It's like
No,
huge.
but it's I guess it's an acquired skill.
Yeah.
It's some very, very big amounts of air. I'm not a steep guy, but I have a lung capacity of past 7 liters.
That's a lot too.
How much is Stihan?
14 at his peak, so that's next level. But yeah,
That's next level.
Yeah.
But for normal people, 7 is a lot.
and one of the ways to measure your lung volume and diaphragm capacity is always is also to measure the length of your exhalation. I think we have done some measurement on you before, but you mentioned some number to me once. What is the longest measurement you have done on your exhalation?
I'm not sure, and I don't have it on this phone, but I've used the AeroFit mouthpiece to measure amount of air in and like the pressure on an inhale and also the pressure on the exhale, and I'm in the top percentiles of
users.
all AeroFit users worldwide.
Cool.
Which is quite a lot.
I believe we measured it to be extending 30, maybe even 40 seconds.
No, way more than
Maybe even over a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
when I do
insane.
my what's it called? I do my carbon dioxide breathe out time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd measure that in the morning. 4 deep inhales through the nose, out through the mouth. On the 5th deep inhale, you exhaled as slowly as possible, and it's usually between 70 and 95 seconds.
That's a lot.
So
That's a lot.
And,
Yeah.
and the fun thing about
The
that,
exhale.
Yeah.
But that exercise is also a way of gauging whether or not your system is recovered from yesterday's activities. And it's,
So how often do you do these breath work practices?
I mean, my breath work is I think it's a habitual thing now.
Yeah.
I don't really think about it too much. I mean, when I'm in a cold, I do this self-made up thing.
Because you mean you're doing because of the singing and everything. That's why you've worked it up. Or I mean, do you do meditation? Do you do sit down and actually say, now I'm gonna close my eyes and just focus on the breath?
Yeah, but if I'm walking through town,
Yeah,
I'll
you do it.
inhale for 4 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Exhale, and
5 seconds in,
yeah, I mean,
5 seconds
Yeah, I
hold,
mean, you can do
15
that.
seconds out, 5 seconds hold.
that's what I do in the cold.
Yeah.
But
And that's a way to calm down your nervous system, get into the parasympathetic nervous system.
But it's also a way of extending time in the cold, because 1 minute is then only 2 breaths.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that as well. If I count my breath, like 3 minutes, it's like that.
Yeah.
So it's also a mind game.
Oh, that's your trick to staying down for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, got to do that.
You gotta try that.
Yeah, let's hear about that. I would like to hear more about that. How did you start the whole cold exposure thing, and how did you get to 15 minutes? I feel like that's a long time.
15 minutes?
In what?
Did I miss something?
15 minutes in an ice bath.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You go
Yeah.
ahead.
The average of my ice bath length is like 8 minutes.
Okay. But you
So,
just told
So
me...
today would drag my average down quite a bit, you know?
Yeah.
With the little 3-minute plunge.
Yeah. But so he told me before we started that was it in Norway?
Yeah, we did the swimming.
In Norway where he does 15 minutes.
No, I didn't do it. I did 15 minutes was in an ice bath.
Okay.
basically lying down. No, the longest I've been swimming in like cold water is like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
And swimming is next level.
Is it?
I feel that way. There's a bit different views on that perspective. But when you have
Movement.
once again the movement in the water flowing in, it gets like approximately 5 degrees colder than what it is.
And you have to be
Feels that way.
more in control of your body because you can't cramp up and you got to really focus on your
You
breath, I
need
guess.
to own your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems and know when are you using which one of them.
Yeah.
And it's more difficult to control your breathing when you're swimming because the heart rate goes up.
I can't do the 15-second exhales. What I do is I try to control my breathing, and then I do this vagus nerve exhalation. So I push my tongue into the roof of my mouth and make it a exhalation, so that you're actively calming down your vagus nerve while you're breathing out, while you're swimming around.
Okay.
And then I would say wear a woolly hat. Don't get your head underwater when you're swimming. In the ocean.
Yeah.
Like there's no point.
No.
I mean, you don't gain in 8-degree water. Yeah, plunge your head at the end. But like, there's no point. Like health and safety wise, there's no point in getting your head under the ice water when you're in those temperatures.
Okay.
No, and from a health perspective, it doesn't make that much sense either. Because you have the brown fat tissues from the neck and down, so head below.
Head below is like wake it up.
Yeah, waking up mentally.
Putting the head below can actually help you stay in longer if you start with the head under and you're sitting in a more controlled environment, because you kind of kill the urge to leave, because as soon as you get your head back up, you're like, okay, I can breathe again.
Interesting.
That was actually the same thing that Steve said, or otherwise I read it in this book, that if there's some nerves in your face that when you get it under your water,
yeah, you can relax them by just splashing cold water in your face.
Then it will signal somehow, and that should be more comfortable in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe
interesting.
Maybe I
always finish with the head below because I fear the opposite way.
Yeah.
That if I start with the head below, it will be a nightmare for the entire process. I have to try that next time. Also remember that you sent me a picture once of light through the ears.
Oh yeah.
What?
And it was the first time I heard about it.
That's what Jack Cruz said.
That was what fucking Jack Cruz said. Apparently it's a biohack now. And it makes super sense because I got to know this doctor, Jack Cruz, afterwards, after you said that, where he talked about that. Of course, light is very important, but one of the ways to get light into your brain, light doesn't access your brain, but one of the ways to get light in is through the ears. So I thought about that.
Yeah. So I have a little device I use when I travel, and I use it in the winter. So it is light therapy through the ears, invented in Finland to combat winter depression. So the thing is that we get light to the brain through our eyes, through the retina. You go out, you get light, but the eye and the retina, you have so much tissue that the amount of light entering the brain is diminished. And there's a shorter access through the ears, but you won't get the sunlight in there. So these are very powerful LED earbuds. You put them in, you press go, and it's a 12-minute cycle. If you can ideally look at the horizon and or a faraway object, preferably in the direction of the rising sun. This will accelerate the effect of this. I use it to recalibrate my circadian rhythm when I travel, so that I don't get as affected by the jet lag.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was always under the impression that jet lag is a state of mind, which to a certain extent it is. If you decide to switch the time of day already in Copenhagen airport, I'll put my watch to the time where I'm going.
It helps, yeah.
And then I will be, it's what time is it in Los Angeles? Would I have breakfast now? Okay, and then I'll eat that. I'll eat what I would normally eat for breakfast or dinner. Or it's like fucking with yourself. Because the main thing to fuck up the jet lag is the digestion and the way you go to the bathroom. So if you can switch your like the way you're eating before you get there, so that you're gonna shit in the morning like you normally should. I mean, or at least I do.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the little earbud things, when I then touch down in Los Angeles and it's morning, or if I'm on a plane and I know, now it's 7 in the morning and I wake up, you can put them in. Recalibrate your circadian rhythm and kind of start your system over.
Yeah, because it's very it's very much a hormonal process as well as it's a mental process. So there are some physical aspects too, which is why I guess you use the light therapy.
The light and your eating.
Yeah. Light, nutrition, temperature are the most dominant from my perspective.
But back to the ear things. Do you feel like does it work?
Yeah.
Do you feel any? Yeah. So you feel like more energized if you go and you use these on a jet lag?
I mean, if you use them in January, right?
Yeah.
The sun's gonna come up at fucking 9.
Yeah.
But my kids get up at 6.
Yeah.
Summer, winter, they get up at 6. Put the earbuds in, bang.
Boom.
And then I'm...
The only
Right
thing Jack
there.
Cruz would disagree with here.
Blue light.
The blue light.
Is it blue
thing.
light?
It is because it's LED, so it's blue light. He would say, for sure
Infrared.
it works, but the blue light is toxic. So ideally, you would need the red light earbuds or whatever we call them.
They're...
If they even exist, I don't know.
Maybe we should develop them.
Maybe we should develop them.
I mean, they're bright.
Yeah. So it's cold light, right?
Yeah.
Must be blue light then.
Yeah, I mean, most likely everything is blue light, right?
But why through the ears and not prioritize through the eyes?
It's too bright to put through the eyes.
But
No,
that's,
but I just mean
but that's the
sunlight.
interesting
Oh, sunlight.
thing.
If sunlight is available,
then
great.
you do that.
Super.
But think about the underlying thing of this, how interesting it is, because why do you even hear sound? Right? Everything is energy.
Frequencies.
And it's frequencies that you hear. So just the fact that your ears can pick up light itself and pick up sound.
There's just an eardrum, and then your brain is just
Yeah.
right in there.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why these earpieces, and I still use them even if the sun's up, is that it's a 12-minute cycle, and to get the same amount of light through the eyes is going to take longer time. If you can do both, I mean, but it also advises don't look at a blue screen.
Yeah, it's the same.
Look at the horizon and the rising sun, put them in, and then start.
It's interesting. Do you have any other biohacking habits like that?
Like small ones. That one is good.
Of course, you have the cold exposure, you have the
Cold
sauna, you have
exposure,
all
almost exclusive cold showers.
these. Yeah, cold showers. And you mentioned to me that you never take hot showers. Always cold.
So, but I'm also
I like
interested to hear how come you've never gotten into stuff like meditation and stuff? What about spirituality? Are you into that if you do the breath work?
I mean, sure, we're spiritual beings, have a physical experience.
Yeah.
But it's like Tony Robbins, right?
Okay.
He talks about priming rather than meditation because his head is probably flying somewhere off.
What's that?
What's that, yeah?
He just does has a priming ritual in the morning that he doesn't do meditation necessarily. And I think it's kind of the same for me. I do other things. To me, my being in a gym is a meditative practice.
Okay.
Like the way that I'm counting reps or only counting after a certain amount of fatigue sets in. The way I use my breath to prime my body to consume oxygen is also a meditative breathing pattern.
Yeah.
But I don't really enjoy sitting down and meditating and listening to a mindfulness tape.
Yeah.
It's like, I love reading, I love doing, I love being.
That's meditation as well. It depends on how we define it. Because I don't see meditation isolatedly as sitting down in peace.
No.
I see meditation as well as
Cooking.
doing some practice.
Yeah.
Cooking is meditation for
Cooking
me
is
as well.
super meditative for me.
Just I see meditation as a practice where you focus solely on what you're doing, whether it's reading, breathing, cooking, whatever. To me, that's meditation.
To me, it is, but to me, it's also to withstand the urge to be. It's focus. So when you meditate, like that's why I like to do it, because I'm also very much the same. I like to do all kinds of shit all the time, and I easily get impatient and want to do other stuff. But when you're forced to meditate,
Do you have kids yet?
No.
You'll get then the impatience.
Yeah. Okay.
The impatience will leave you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And just
maybe that's true.
Just the amount
That's
of
another
time
biohack.
available during the day. You don't have much time. You have to prioritize your time.
Yeah.
I have so much time.
Yeah. Alone.
No.
Lukas time.
But you also have a lot of hobbies that you spend it on. You work out, you do other stuff. Is there other stuff that you do?
No, my point is just that when you have two kids that wake you up at 6, if you drop them off between 8 and 9, then because I don't, like if I'm at home, I don't have a job, right? My job is usually far removed. So on the days, like, that's why I can sit here and talk to you guys today.
Yeah.
Like otherwise I would have been working out. Time-wise, I might still get a workout in. Would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my point was just, I don't like to look at things like, I don't want to look at time as being scarce.
No.
Because it's going to fuck up my day.
Yeah.
But if I have plenty of time, I'll just do less things and do them properly.
Yeah. That's a good way of thinking of it.
Time is the only thing that we can never get back.
No.
It's the most precious thing we
Time
have.
is a fucking illusion.
You'll never be
Yeah, it
younger.
is an
You'll never be
illusion.
younger than you are right now.
Yeah.
No matter what, you'll look back at pictures of yourself now and think, wow, I looked so good and I was so young.
Unless you're Brian Johnson. Then you will grow backwards. Do you know him?
No.
Okay. I don't think there's no reason to talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
This will soon be a Brian Johnson podcast.
Yeah, I hope so. That we have to mention who it is. The guy is a
The billionaire that wants to.
Yeah.
Who looks older now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks older,
He looks
but he
weirder
believes-
now, I would say.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about that guy. You asked about small biohack things. I actually have some compression pants that I put on after concerts or after heavy leg workouts, and they accelerate recovery.
What is it that they do?
It's like a leg massage, so it starts from the foot up and it starts inflating and pushing the blood out of your legs. Then it lets go, blood comes back in.
Blood circulation training.
Oh,
So it basically circulates blood without you having to do anything for it. It's like people who run marathons would do recovery runs.
Yeah.
So you would do a shorter run in the days after a long run to circulate blood. I kind of get these recovery runs on stage. If I do heavy squats in the morning and I do a concert at night, I'll wake up the next day and my legs won't be sore.
Yeah.
And for a while, I didn't understand it until I started listening to the Huberman podcast and trying to figure out what happens with accelerated blood flow. And so now I have these compression pants. And I've been basically working out 8 days in a row and some sort of leg on every day. I did heavy squats yesterday.
And you feel great
Probably
today.
squat again today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. But it's like, it was a fun little experiment. And they, it's just nicer to come home. And especially after a concert, I can't fall asleep anyway. My adrenaline's up.
Yeah.
So I'll go and I'll do
It's
a
a
warm
fucking
or a
workout.
cold shower, depending on how late it is.
Yeah.
If it's a really late show, I'll have a very warm shower, compression pants on, read my book, and then I can fall asleep.
Boom.
You regularly perform in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
50,000 plus sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you do to keep your ego in check?
That's a good question.
I mean,
It must be tough. It must be tough to be the only person on the stage.
yeah, but no matter what, I'm going to come home to my kids. There's going to be a diaper that needs to be changed. There's going to be a lunch that has to be packed, clothes that has to be washed. And that's a very nice and humbling experience.
Yeah.
I do believe that my wife and kids is the main grounding mechanism. But also I live very close to where I grew up.
Yeah.
I get to meet my childhood friends, and they don't ask me, how's it going with the career? They ask, how are you?
Mm.
And that's a nicer question to get. Because at the end of the day, I know, and they know, that the money and the fame isn't really going to make anybody happy anyway.
Yeah.
What's going to make us happy is the small decisions that we do every day, that we make every day.
I kind of see this pattern now from where we're going, that your humble background, that your upbringing on Christiania kind of made you who you are.
But did your parents also have these kinds of not mantras, but these kind of
Values.
Did they teach you these kind of things?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. My dad died 11 years ago, and my mom is still alive, living in the house where I was born.
Mm-hmm.
I was born on a couch in a house without a toilet or a bathroom, right?
Yeah.
On Christiania.
Yeah, I mean, that itself is a humble,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm about to say experience, but you can't remember, but I mean,
I think it's
a
very
humble
unique.
place to grow up,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, and I mean, and I do wonder how are my kids gonna fare now that they're growing up fairly like wealthy kids, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they know what room service is. I didn't know what room service was at a hotel until I was an adult.
Mm-hmm. I still don't know.
But I guess it's your job as a parent to balance things out, to show them what they can have, but to show them what regular people have.
And at the end of the day, they're gonna grow up and make their own decisions anyway, no matter what I say or do.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting concept. I mean, you can raise your kids as much as you want, but if you're too strict, they're gonna do all this stuff anyway. If you're too lenient, they might
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good balance.
It's like,
But you still shape them.
and the
100%.
main way I believe that you can shape your kids is that they don't listen to what I say, they look at what I do.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Definitely.
they see, what am I eating, when am I eating, why am I eating,
Yeah.
how am I eating.
You gotta lead us an example.
100%.
You gotta be the example.
They notice, are we sharing things with other people? Are we not sharing things with other people?
Yeah.
How do we talk to our parents reflects on how are they going to talk to us.
Don't teach them, show them. I think
It's
it's a
the
great
only
thing.
way.
Yeah.
It's the only way. I mean, my kids do push-ups with me. Right? Not because I ask them to, but because they see me doing push-ups.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a real person push-up, but
But it will be
Yeah.
in
but
time.
it will
yeah.
be in time.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I have a daughter who can do pull-ups, right? Because my gymnastics rings, they hang in the living room from a beam. That's like, they're right there.
there you go.
It's like,
And you take cold showers with the youngest one now?
both of them like stepping into my ice bath, right? And then they've been slowly sitting down and like, Dad, look at me, I'm sitting down. And they're sitting in a fucking tub of ice.
Yeah, man.
3 years old, 6 years old.
That's pretty cool.
And they'll ask me on a hot summer day, oh, Dad, I don't want a warm bath, I want a cold bath. And so then it's like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's how we should raise kids.
But that's, I mean,
By
that's how
being
we
the example.
But especially now, because I think the conclusion is also, even if you're rich and if you're not rich, I mean, you can be not rich and still have all of the things that we didn't have 50 years ago or 100 years ago. And our bodies are not made for this society. Our bodies are made to be cold. Like we talked about so many times with all the guests now. They're made for all these things that we have to choose now. You have to choose to work out. You have to choose to be cold. You have to choose not to eat
Because you can
5
choose
times
not
a day.
To. Yeah.
And you have to choose these things because that's what your body is made for. That's how it makes it feel good. So if we don't choose these things in our life now, we're not going to, come up to our full potential at what we can be, which is, I don't know, that's what I want to do. I mean, that's, grow into what we can grow into.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like feeling good.
Yeah.
And I like being happy. And one of the ways I realized an easier way to get is like the more pain you can put into your life intentionally,
There you go.
the easier everything becomes.
Yeah.
The more fun everything
Yeah.
becomes, the happier I am. And my main pain is cold.
Yeah.
Cold to the point of shivering. Today was an easy 3 minutes and 8 degrees. But come winter, I like going into the ocean without the backup of a sauna.
Oh, yeah.
And then just sticking it out and freezing all the way back home.
Shivering, yeah.
And let my body fucking,
Yeah.
I can't let it go. I try to loosen it up, but it's just tensing and you're like feeling the burn.
Yeah.
But isn't the joy connected to pain because that's how we evolved? We didn't evolve to have all this comfort, all this abundance. That's why
I'm
we
not
enjoy
a doctor. I'm not a professor of neuroscience.
Yet.
So I can't.
But you had common sense, and
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, all the stuff you do, it makes sense.
I mean, from a dopamine spike
Yeah.
perception, it does.
Yeah. And I also think, I always think like this. I mean, if I don't put a little bit of suffering, a little bit of pain in my life, nature is gonna it's naturally gonna come of something that I don't choose. You know what I mean?
I buried my father. I've buried several friends that were my age. I've buried some who were younger. We've buried a lot of parents in my group of, and it's like the pain is gonna come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually.
Regardless, yeah.
The pain is gonna come regardless. But I can feel that it's easier to deal with these sudden blows the more cold exposure I do.
Yeah.
The more I push my fasts, the more I do these heavy loaded workouts.
Yeah.
But also when I get home, I'm more a dad. I'm more a husband.
What about fasting? How long did you push that one?
I like 24 hours sometimes, but I'm not, because I also like my my muscular recovery in terms of how intense my work is. I haven't yet done these longer fasts, but 24 hours is something I do sometimes. Mostly though, it's between 16 and 20 hours, and then I have my window.
Daily intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
You do that every day?
Most days, depending again on workload. If I have a lot of late shows, then and I like traveling makes it a little tricky, and then I kind of schedule around it, and then I try and make it what I call just like daylight eating, which of course in the summer.
In the summer is pretty fucked up.
It's then I can eat from 4 a.m. to no.
Yeah.
I mean, I never eat like breakfast before my kids get up anyway.
No.
So the earliest I would eat is like between 7 and 9. And the latest I'll eat is usual 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So like reverse of Ramadan.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. What about our water source project? How's it going? What's the status?
Yeah, no, I never dug into that anymore. But I just thought it was fun.
It was fun, yeah.
What's that?
There's just a well. The water rights were made available in at this well in
Silkeborg.
In Silkeborg.
That's the one you were talking about in...
Talked about it where Carlsberg sold their shares.
That's
yes,
like
750,000 liters
Liters.
a year can be tapped from there.
You can do with it whatever you want.
Then you just play some Mozart for it and give it the right structure, and then you sell it.
Exactly.
And I don't sell it. Or whatever.
Yeah, I think we would make a business out of it.
Make a business out of selling people
pure
spring
water.
Pure water.
Purest water ever. Not in plastic, but in glass. Without fluoride, without chlorine, without any chemicals.
But there's no fluoride. It's just basically taking it and putting it on fucking sterile.
There is still fluoride in it. That's a great chance it is. Okay. Unless it's not inserted in that area. I don't know. But that would be something that we would look into to get the cleanest water out there, because you cannot buy bottled water today while it's clean. It's impossible. I've never seen it before.
No, and even with the very, very good water we have in Denmark, there's still contamination.
There is.
Well, you can taste it.
There's a lot of contamination here. More than you could imagine. I've tested the water in there and it was insane.
You should come to Los Angeles and New York and try and taste the water out there.
You can't drink that.
Insane, right?
Can you? Do the people drink it there?
I usually get these carbon filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, the amounts of fluoride in USA is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. That's the area of the world where the fluoride levels are highest.
I'm not knowledgeable enough about water.
No. That's where I come in the picture. We should do it. We should definitely do it. I just need some money.
That's
where a new connection comes.
I just need some money.
We need the billionaires then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Brian
type
Johnson.
of money.
Yeah, but we do. we need some money if this project should go on.
But it's funny, speaking about water, is like one of the things that some of my friends thinks is weird is like I put salt in the water I drink when I work out, for example.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Electrolytes.
I mean, the neurons, when they fire, they use salt. And we don't have enough in our bodies if we just eat a regular diet, because a lot of the salt has been put on and it's still solid. It has to be liquid. I mean, it's funny. I think like listening to Huberman Lab, trying things out on your own body, and then using just a small degree of common sense can bring you super far. And then also listening to MT sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like I like diversifying my inputs.
That's good.
It usually makes for a better end product.
Broad perspectives, various perspectives from people who disagree with each other. As well. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then it's like try and test things out to see what makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then like you'll have someone saying, no, but eating pizza every day and having chicken nuggets every day and French fries makes me feel good. It's like, but no, but actually dig deep down. Like, are you just eating to fill a hole in your heart, or like, like really feel?
It's that short pleasure. It's that mentality that most people have now. That's so easy to get into. That okay, I need to fill the pleasure with more pleasure. It has to be more fun than the last time. That's why. I mean, there's so many of these traps now, like TikTok and stuff like that, where people they need that to be happy, you know? And it's the same with the food. They need that. I think that's also why it's so important to fast, because only then will you realize more than 24 hours, like really suffer, like a week, because only then will you really see your true relationship to food. You see what it is that you want. All the emotions that you cover with food, which is why a lot of people get fat. It's because they cover some emotional things with food,
or they're eating when they're bored.
Yeah, so face that too. I mean,
no, but also if I eliminate boredom from my life, I'll stop being creative.
Yeah,
boredom is insanely important.
It's so important.
Yeah, but people don't acknowledge that.
It's interesting you say that, because that's should be the source of creativity. Should be boredom, because only then will you.
No, it is. It not should. It is.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
So if you're not bored, you can't create anything. And if you're not creating anything, then you're just consuming.
People are never bored.
I like
today.
that.
Yeah. It makes total sense.
The more I work, the less I spend.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. I can look at my bank balance and see if I've had a month of a lot of work or a month with not a lot of work.
So is that a good thing?
Depends what your goal is.
Goals should never be consumption, I think.
No, but it's more like I'll spend less on food even when I'm traveling and working. Like I'm eating the same amount of meals, but I've just spent less on food.
Yeah.
And sometimes even, it's funny. It's interesting, yeah. It is, for sure. But great conversation. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
We crawled around a few different subjects.
I think you're very inspiring. And I've said it many times also during this podcast, but I like your humble approach to life, despite the resources that you have. I think that should be the goal. To have an abundance of resources and still be grounded. Still have the right values.
I mean, we're all just beginners, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you surprised me. I mean, you know a lot about these things too. I mean, it's interesting to hear, because we got equally amount of good tips and tricks from you and knowledge from you that we did from the other guests.
Exactly.
You know.
So that's
my brain is good at retaining knowledge.
Yeah, that's good, and that's why I wanted to hear.
Well, thank you.
Because you have some brain capacity, so that's good. It's great. You're very knowledgeable.
Well, we have big brains, not because of our ability to think, but because of our ability to move. This is the most complex machine in nature.
Oh, yeah.
Like the way we can move in three-dimensional patterns, that is why our brains are so big. There's a larger portion of our brain devoted to moving limbs than to thinking.
Mm.
I think it's very, very interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. All right. Thanks for your participation, Lukas.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me and for the cups and the cold and
Yeah. I hope this won't be the last time.
the coffee and the sparkling water.
For sure. It's not the last time we will see each other.
No,
Maybe you'll participate on the podcast again once in the future.
we'll definitely
what happens.
work out a little more.
For sure, for sure.
For sure.
Thank you, Lukas.
Yeah, pleasure.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you, guys.
And see you.
See you
Take care.
when I get more time off.
Take care. Yeah.